Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. This is a video that I've been working on for a very long time, and I've been wanting to get out for a long time, but for many reasons between me moving and the amount of new information that is still being revealed on a regular basis, I felt like now was the perfect moment where I felt like the whole story was complete enough for me to shed a little bit of light on it. So let's basically just get right into it. Terrace House was a Japanese slice of life style reality show that began airing in 2012 and went on to have 4 spin-off shows and a theatrically released film that served as the finale to its original 8-season long run. The show followed the lives of 6 strangers that would all live together in the titular Terrace House and all the friendships and romances that would form between housemates. The show began gaining an international cult following when its second incarnation, Boys and Girls in the City, began airing internationally on Netflix, with the New York Times praising the show on numerous occasions and GQ magazine referring to the show as the reality show for people who hate reality shows. Stylistically, the show had a much slower and more relaxed pace than most other reality shows, minimal camera movement, editing that allows every shot to breathe, and an emphasis on body language and facial expressions rather than the yelling and physical altercations that we're used to in most other reality shows. It was a show that seemed to be based in showing the true lives of its subjects, and it felt so human, and yet somehow it turned out to be just as bad, if not worse, than other reality shows we may be familiar with. Following all of the different incarnations of the shows, which were pretty successful for both Netflix and Fuji TV, the streak of success and popularity came to an abrupt halt this year in 2020. One thing that stopped the streak of success and popularity was the COVID-19 outbreak and the whole pandemic, which forced the whole production of the show to be halted for a period of time. They didn't know how long it was going to be, but episodes were delayed and a lot of fans were upset about it, but it soon got way worse. On May 23rd of 2020, when 22-year-old pro wrestler and housemate Hana Kimura took her own life following a series of social media posts that had fans extremely worried for her mental health. Hana Kimura's death was not only a really devastating loss for both the pro wrestling community and the Terrace House fans that got to know her on the show, but also her family, her own mother. Her tragic passing led to the show being cancelled and the remaining episodes of the season never being released. The situation sparked outrage towards Terrace House, Netflix, and Fuji TV from both the Japanese public and international fans. And while a lot of dedicated fans do know about what really went down, I felt like there just wasn't enough definitive coverage of the situation in English, and especially on YouTube, so that's what I'm here to talk about. Before I get started, I would really like to give a huge thank you to Farah on Twitter for translating all of these articles and this really vital information. This video would absolutely not be possible without her and her amazing work, so please go show her some love. I've put her social media links in the description of this video. Please go check her out. She's amazing, and thank you so much for giving me permission to use your translations for this video. You are a lifesaver. Thank you again to Farah. Now that I've explained what Terrace House was, I'd like to get started on the circumstances surrounding Hana Kimura's tragic death and all the discussion that's now surrounding Terrace House and Fuji TV. For those of you who may not have watched the show or know what happened. During the show's 5th installment, entitled Tokyo 2019 through 2020, there seemed to be signs of a possible romance between Hana Kimura and fellow housemate Kai Kobayashi. They both seemed to be hitting it off quite well and had some pleasant dates with each other until a double date trip in which it seemed like Kai wasn't too interested in Hana. Following that trip, in the now infamous episode titled Case of the Costume Incident, Kai accidentally left one of Hana's expensive custom-made wrestling costumes in the dryer, causing it to shrink. This then led to a very, very tense fight between Hana and Kai that seems very, very uncharacteristic for what people were used to seeing on this show. Although I personally believe that she was rightfully and very understandably upset in this situation, I'd like to just play a clip of the scene, specifically what I would consider to be the climax of the whole ordeal, and one of the main factors that contributed to Hana's deteriorating mental health. If you would like to abstain from seeing this scene because it can be a little bit distressing, you may skip to this timestamp to skip past it.
あんたにそういう風にされなきゃいけないの。なんで何も考えないの？今まで自分が周りのこと何にも考えずに自分のことしか考えてこなかったからこうなってんじゃん。なんでお前が黙ってんのって言ってんじゃん。ねえ、なんとも思わないこの状況。
本当にごめん。
信じられないわ。
ちょっと私一回上に行く。
ふざけて私かぶってんじゃねえよ。触んなよ。
The fuck?
Many Terrace House fans and fans of Hana alike were shocked by this scene that was so tense and filled with negative energy that it felt almost out of place for the show and out of character for Hana's usual behavior, especially for people who knew her from before the show. And it was the airing of this scene that created an enormous amount of backlash, cyberbullying that included racist comments and death threats that began to flood into Hana's social media platforms. You can still read negative comments about the way that both Hana and Kai handled the situation on the Reddit discussion thread for the episode. Comments saying, Hana is childish at best and flimsy at worst in terms of being a friend. Hana acts like a queen, to be honest. She has this need for everyone to treat her as how she wants them to treat her. She expected Kai to be kissing her feet or wooing her and giving her a fairy tale date. So Hana throws a tantrum when something bad happens to her. What a ableist slur that I will not be saying. Accidents happen. So those are some of the American fan comments on Reddit. And on the Japanese side of things, Hana was getting the bulk of the backlash and negativity, with many death threats and racist comments on both Instagram and Twitter. Ultimately, on the 23rd of May of 2020, Kimura took to social media to post graphic images of self-harm along with the following tweet that read, I get nearly 100 blunt remarks every day. I can't deny feeling hurt. Go die. You're disgusting. Go away. I've always been thinking about that myself the most. Thanks for giving birth to me, Mom. Her final social media post was a photo of her and her cat, which on Instagram stories had a caption saying goodbye. It was later confirmed by the Stardom Wrestling Agency that Hana had indeed taken her own life. Fuji TV immediately ceased production on the show for good and began conducting an alleged internal investigation regarding the production of the show. Many people seem to accept that the situation happened because of cyberbullying and social media only. Little did we know the situation was even bigger and much worse than we initially thought and realized. So we're going to jump from May 24th to the 1st of July of 2020. Yahoo News of Japan publishes an article entitled, Fuji TV Killed My Daughter. It was an interview and testimony with Hana's mother, Kyoko Kimura, that brought to light a whole lot of information that was previously unknown about the situation and about Terrace House as a whole. Her testimony opens with these words. As it stands, Hana's death is being dismissed as a story where a violent girl committed violence against a man and committed suicide after getting criticized on social media. The truth is completely different. She simply played the role of a heel as instructed by the Fuji TV staff. I was listening to my daughter and all the evidence that still remains in her cell phone. Adults have lied and coaxed each other, and in the end, there was no escape. Now that she's no longer with us, I want to at least restore Hana's honor. I wanted the people who supported me to know the truth, so I agreed to do this interview. In this initial investigation conducted by Yahoo News of Japan, it was revealed that Terrace House, which marketed itself as being completely unscripted, heavily manipulated Hana, Kimura, and other housemates throughout the history of the show. Such acts of manipulation include the production team originally wanting Hana to slap Kai in the face during the now infamous costume incident scene. And before her death, Hana not only told her mother about how staged the show was, but her friends too. And the evidence was all right there on Hana's cell phone in many text messages that have since been released. In one message, Hana told her friend, "I felt like I was hyperventilating, but the camera was still all over me. I'm finally calmed down now. I'll go to sleep. I was supposed to go to sleep before 12, but it hurts so much." And to make matters worse, also on Hana's cell phone were text messages to a Terrace House staff member that were a clear SOS, a clear cry for help, and they seem to have been ignored. This Yahoo News article also touched on the topic of the racism that she experienced from a young age due to her being only half Japanese and being of a darker complexion. During the initial buzz surrounding her death, there were many people that began wondering, why didn't Hana just leave the show? And this article gave us a lot of new insight into just how horrible and inhumane Terrace House and the contractual obligations that came with being on the show actually were. One former Terrace House cast member that has decided to stay anonymous said in the article, "I said that I would graduate from Terrace House about around last November. I felt mentally ill due to the slander on the social media, and it seemed to be physically demanding. There was a crew member who was like a watchdog in the room, and we were there in the middle of the night for shooting till 3 o'clock in the morning. Terrace House's payment to cast members was about 100,000 yen, which roughly is $1,000 per month. It seemed that if you went out to eat with friends for a shoot, you had to pay out of pocket. The contract for people that are on the show as housemates is very, very strict. This is the agreement form and written oath that Hana signed with Fuji Television and the production company East Entertainment that was in effect from September 2nd, 2019. The contract has 28 articles including disclosing personal records and history of doing sex work, promptly notification of entering an intimate relationship with someone, photos with weekly magazines, etc. Do not talk to the press. In addition, there is also a section called retirement, which refers to the process of leaving Terrace House. It has guidelines that go under the decisions made by those in charge of the show. Basically, the producers would choose when you left Terrace House, not the castmates themselves. Basically, whenever the crew would be all around you and other housemates from the show, and the producers would ask you to do a certain thing and you declined, the shooting gets canceled and you get charged a compensation fee that covers the production cost, which would be in the million yen range or tens of millions of yen, which could be about $10,000 or $100,000. In other words, they were blackmailing the cast members with threats of being put into debt over contractual obligations. Previously, in 2014, an anonymous former cast member came forward and made very similar claims regarding pressure from higher-ups and staff members, as well as sexual harassment from staff members. This caused the show to be canceled for a moment by Fuji TV before being picked up by Netflix with the same exact crew working as before. Near the end of this very, very long article that I urge you all to read, and I will be linking in the description, translated by Farah once again, they finally got a hold of Fuji TV's president, Ryunosuke Endo, only for him to deny all accusations of misconduct and manipulation of the show. During this entire frenzy, this disaster, Only one Terrace House cast member has outright shown support for Kyoko Kimura's quest for justice, and that is Kai Kobayashi himself. In this Yahoo News article, he said that Hana apologized to him following the incident and told him that it happened due to production forcing her to act out for the cameras. Later, on July 15th, the Japanese publication known as Bunshun published an article which gave us even more testimonies from people previously involved with Terrace House, as well as Kyoko Kimura filing a complaint with the Broadcasting Ethics and Program Involvement Organization, also known as the BPO. The first testimony in this article was from Kai Kobayashi, and he revealed that after he had left Terrace House, Fuji TV requested additional shooting. They wanted him to come back to the house to shoot a scene and play it off as if it had happened before he had left the house. And he also recounted his experience while filming a scene with Hana in which they went on a date to a trampoline playground type place, and he says that the staff tried to convince him to grope Hana without her consent to surprise her. He considers this to be one of the moments where he realized he couldn't trust the Terrace House production staff. This Bunshun article also mentions that following the release of the costume incident episode, as usual, Fuji TV posted some deleted scenes from that week on the Terrace House YouTube channel. These videos on YouTube included a scene in which Hana was alone in the living room crying about the altercation, and then the other housemates coming in to tell her that she essentially overreacted. These scenes seem to have been filmed to enforce the villain narrative that the producers of Terrace House were trying to push onto Hana. And finally, as part of this Bunshun thread, an anonymous former staff member for the show told Bunshun that in another incident, another housemate who suffered from online slander cried and tried to escape the cameras. But there's allegedly a monitor room where the staff can track all of the members' movements. A cameraman was then instructed via intercom to wait by the front door, as this housemate tried to escape the house and all the cameras. From the staff's testimonies and all of the text messages, it's clear that Fuji TV's insistence that no one was pressured to do anything, and we talked to Hana before shooting, was one-sided and far from what actually happened in this situation. Once again, later, on July 31st, Fuji TV published the findings of their own internal investigation into Terrace House, in which 27 people involved with the show were interviewed and questioned, with no third party. Their findings boil down to that the production team never manipulated any of the cast members to act a certain way or do certain things. Interestingly enough, one cast member from the show was not questioned, and that was Kai Kobayashi, despite him later saying that he was fully open and willing to comply with Fuji TV's investigation. Both Kyoko Kimura and Kai Kobayashi refuted this investigation, saying it was nothing but lies from Fuji TV trying to save themselves. So basically, from all this information, it's clear that Fuji TV is avoiding being held accountable for what they've done, not only to Hana, but to other housemates from Terrace House who suffered in silence for years because of their horrible, inhumane treatment by staff, very strange, strict contracts and non-disclosure agreements. And that's why I wanted to make this video for so long. It's just infuriating to see such a horrible situation like this one, an abuse of power like this, get such little coverage from English-speaking outlets. And I want to once again give the biggest thank you in the world to Farah for all of her amazing work translating these videos and these articles. And that's pretty much all of the information that we have now regarding this situation. There's a lot more to discuss regarding Terrace House and other housemates and other situations that have happened on the show that I would like to discuss in a different video. So I will be probably making a follow-up video to this in the future. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support, and I'm really excited to start doing YouTube videos on a regular basis. I have a lot of really exciting ideas coming up, and I hope that you all enjoy them as much as I'm going to enjoy doing them and making these videos. So thank you so much for watching once again, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Goodbye.